Hey guys, hello and welcome to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for the likes, shares, and comments on the previous video. And what are we talking about today? Well, today we are going to talk about information. How powerful is information? Whether it is misinformation, disinformation, and what exactly is propaganda, and how does it affect us, especially as we are a country right now which is a very vibrant economy. Everybody shows a lot of interest in our economy and what actually is happening. See, I'm not here to shift the blame on someone or say this is right or this is wrong. Everything can be right, everything can be wrong, provided it is done with an intention, which is for the welfare of the people. If it's not, well, any and every intention can be bad. Now, let's talk about for a fact that at the present day and age, we are supposed to be living in information age. And what exactly is information? See, throughout human history, we've had these different ages. We were in the Stone Age because we were using stone tools, and the most important thing for human survival at that point of time was the stone tools. Then came the Bronze Age, eventually the Iron Age, which led to the Industrial Revolution, and we were manufacturing and we were traveling, and we basically became a global hub, right? Now, if you look at it, and then we got connected by optical fiber cables, cables under the sea, the internet. But do you really think that being connected so much, we've actually come closer, or the divide has grown bigger? Because see, for every statement that is made to unite somebody or some population or some people, you can find 10 statements which are there to sort of divide the public opinion. Now, why is public opinion very important? See, public opinion is very important in any form of government. Whether it is a totalitarian setup, or even totalitarian governments like to say that they are there because the public opinion supports them. They take you away from that fact that actually that public opinion is not even there. It is willed on the people that, listen, you have to say this. If you don't say this, you don't have a choice, right? In a democracy, public opinions matters a lot. Right? That's the reason why you tend to see politicians all the time working on the fact that the public opinion, the public, all powerful. But is the public really powerful, right? Have you asked that question that all these politicians say that, we are here for you. If they are here for us, why do we have to suffer any sort of misgovernance? If they are all so good at governing, the ones governing are the best that we could do, then why is there so much misgovernance? Well, that is because of the fact that politicians everywhere always sell us this thing that they're working for us. All of them. I'm not talking about one or the other. There are few who work for the people and work for the greater good, so to speak. But then again, let's face it, all human beings cannot be saints. That's the reason why being a saint is a rarity. If it was that common, we would be like in this utopian world, which we are not. And that's the reason why one system is not always correct. If everything is owned by the government, at that point of time, there is an extreme corruption in the government and the people suffer. If everything is owned by the corporates, then the corporates suck everything of the other people and the people suffer still. So people will suffer. People will always suffer, no matter what governance is there. Until the time there is a sort of governance, the person who is there in the government will always try to legitimize their way. Now, in today's age, information is that tool which is wielded like a modern day sword. The person who has control over the information in any form, if it's withholding information, it is a strength. If it is disseminating information, it is a strength. If it is falsifying information, that is also a strength. And bringing out the truth also is a strength. Okay. Now, the biggest tool that has emerged, like this word we've heard so many times over and over again, and the word is propaganda. So let's see what propaganda actually means. So let's go to our good friend Google, because everybody seems to trust Google these days. Like I know a fact that there are certain people who would go to these, specialist doctors who have got almost like 30, 40 years of experience in a particular field. And they will, out of that experience, that doctor would give advice based on a particular case. And the patient would say, but sir, the Google says this, right? So, well, let's go to our friend Google because we believe in it. Now, this is what Google says about propaganda. Information, especially of a biased, misleading nature, used to promote political cause or point of view. Okay. Apparently, there is a second definition that says a committee of cardinals of Roman Catholic Church responsible for foreign missions, founded in 1622 by Pope Gregory XV, that is 15th, I believe 15th. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Right? As I said, everybody can be right and everybody can be wrong in this day and age. Because propaganda as a tool says, you know what is the truth, right? Truth today is also a victim of how it is told. If it is hidden, right, then you don't know the truth. If something false or incorrect, which is misinformation basically, is mentioned as the truth, then that is the truth, but in reality is misinformation. And misinformation is a type of propaganda that is. What is misinformation? Misinformation is or misleading information, right? Or disinformation. There are two words, but I think they have completely different definitions. There are a lot of people who define them as same. Some people define them as different, but misinformation, disinformation, right now we will talk about them together. Now, misinformation is, there are certain facts about everything. Take for instance, let's take for instance, this pen. This is a blue pen, right? Now, misinformation would be that you say, it might look blue on the outside, but it actually writes black. But unless you see it writing, you don't know. You have to take my word for it. So I'm misinforming you that this pen, which looks all blue, might write black. At the same point of time, what would be disinformation? Disinformation would be something completely different. This is not a pen at all. And if you say it enough number of times, it probably might look like a truth. Now, interesting thing, when I was probably trying to research on what I was supposed to speak today, I was looking for tools of propaganda. And it's interestingly, it is something which, see, as I said, like everything, we humans are amazing creatures. I've said this before many times, like we are amazing creatures. Everything positive that we get, we can basically do something absolutely negative and destructive with it. Like the basis of nuclear energy research was that we will have this immense potential of energy. We'll have clean energy, which will take our industrial growth forth, so on and so forth. But what did we do with it? We put it to destructive use as well. Similarly, now that we have the power of information, power of knowing, like the amount of information that we consume today in a day, couple of centuries back, people used to consume that much amount of information in their entire lifetime. People are learning cooking dishes, flipping through reels for 15 to 30 second reels. So anyways, get off your 15, 30 second reels, because if you want to know something about reality about something, you have to spend time. Everything and anything cannot be just explained. People are getting their knowledge about foreign policy through certain statements which are made here or there, this, that. People are voting governments based on the reels that they see. Somebody speaks, some leader speaks for say about 60 minutes. And there are these editors these days, you can hire them. So the best of video editors are not the people who are just doing the movies and films and the special effects. No, they work with the producers these days do not have pockets as deep as certain political parties. And mind you, I am not mentioning a particular political party. I'm talking about political parties in general. Because democracy is not, although democracy, they say government of the people, for the people, by the people. But then again, the amount of money involved in conducting the exercise of democracy today is immense. So the more money you have, the more you can choose how your information goes and how it is perceived. Anyways, so it is all about perception. So when I was trying to research about these tools of propaganda, I found this amazing thing on, and I'd like to share it with you guys. Like, I found this. No, this. The ultimate guide to propaganda, and this is on Adobe Express. Right? If you go through this, give you a summary, what is propaganda. And apparently in 1939, social scientists Alfred and Elizabeth Lee first classified propaganda as a collection of 7 commonly used techniques in their book. And these are the 7 techniques. Now, what are the 7 techniques? These are name calling, glittering generalities, transfer, testimonial, plain folk, cards, stacking, bandwagon. Now you can go through these definitions because you know the tools are the same everywhere. So the tools remain the same. And I'll share the link. You can actually go check it out. Now, see, why Adobe, which is basically a company which is focused towards the creative niche, so to speak, whether it is videos, visual media, so to speak, right? Because obviously this can be used positively as well. How can it be used positively? It can be used for advertising. But then again, politics, most of it today, these days, is advertising, isn't it? Why do you see the big hoardings, the videos, the placements? It's like politics is a product these days. It's placed like product. When is it best to show you the maximum ads to buy a new cell phone? Similarly, when is it best to show you, right? So that's what happens. But then again, how is it affecting us? See, for a very long time, we believed everything that came from the West was right. But if you realize, if you look at the Western propaganda, so to speak, nothing good ever came out of the East. Then why the West came to the East? And why did they want to colonize us and rule us for ages? Have you ever wondered about this? The Westerners today go and say, you know, let's do yoga to stay fit and let's do these kind of diets which are based on organic foods and so. That's what we've been saying in our ancient scriptures and texts. Now the organic is good for you. The West for a very long point of time said, no, the processed food's good for you. It's easy access. Now that we've all had a lot of processed food, we've all become really obese and fat, and we are suffering from heart disease and diabetes and everything. Oh, now the West says, hang on. You should not eat fast food. You should believe in cooking your food for a long. So this is what is propaganda, making us believe that the food habits that we had for ages. And if you still look at certain communities which stick to their food beliefs, this is not a referendum on what type of food, but food essentially, you will realize that there are centennials, there are people who live for years eating their typical food. So the West came and said, no, hang on. So that is the form of propaganda. That was disinformation or misinformation rather, that was given to us by the West for so long in the name of the fact that, no, hang on, fast food. Now we are addicted to fast food. Oh, that's an addiction. Go away from fast food. That's junk food. Have you ever wondered who coined the term fast food? Where did the word fast food come from? Or where did the term junk food come from? So for a very long period of time, the West was selling you this idea that this fast food is good. And then they only coined the term that this is now junk food. Now don't eat it. Eat some really fancy, expensive oils and vegetables. What was wrong on oils and vegetables and poultry and meat or anything or the milk that we were having? If you see, there is an entire lobby of people who were telling you eat olive oil for a point of time. There was a lobby which was telling you, no, hang on, why are you frying everything in ghee? Let's go and eat sunflower oil and this oil and that oil and palm oil, and now palm oil is bad. So this is advertising. This is use of propaganda in advertising, misinformation, disinformation. And see, you will find all this when they say name calling in propaganda, right, in advertising, when you say, right, that text shows right there. So they'll call names. No, hang on. These people are less well. What do they know about food? We'll teach them. That is form of propaganda. Another big thing that you will find today when it comes to propaganda is one of the tools is testimonial. You can go through that. You'll see, you will see your favorite celebrities coming and telling you. Almost every celebrity has somewhere or the other advocated, back in the day, what was the most famous Pepsi ad? Yeah, right choice. It was the right choice. They used to use that word, the right choice baby, right? Sugary drinks. Now don't have cola. You see the number of testimonials celebrities give you right now. I do not eat sugar. I do not do carbs. And they've all sold you sugary aerated drinks. And I'm not saying, I've looked at those testimonials, I've bought stuff. Like a mobile company comes out today and says, this mobile that is there, this right there, this right there, right now is the best ever. Compared to what? Compared to the model last year. How much more better? Because see, if the price is increasing, say 25 to 30% on the model from the model last year, and that one has gotten depreciated, is it really going to add 25 to 30% more to your productivity when you buy that mobile phone, right? Forget that. Forget that for a minute. Let's talk about the fact that, a lot of people end up saying, I just buy it for the brand of it. Right? I just place it here on my ear and then everybody can see that brand. Now, okay, you're paying, compared to the model last year, about say 15% more, right? And your last year's model has depreciated by say 15 to 20%. So you say bought something for 100,000 Indian rupees last year, and this year the same spec upgrade will cost you say 115,000 Indian rupees, and your old one is now basically selling for 75,000 Indian rupees. You're spending that much money extra because, you're like, okay, this is a Swift exchange. Basically, I'm just using another 35 to 45,000 rupees. Point is it, even for the flash that the glitz and the glamour it gives you, does it give you that 40% increase in your stature? Forget the productivity. Because for a long period of time, people are talking about this productivity thing, right? It's better, it's faster. It's faster, give me faster, give me now. Do we really need it? Do we really need an upgrade? Because this is what I've started realizing for the fact that, and it is not about just mobile phones. If you see, this entire propaganda works on upgrades. The consumer has to consume more because the industrial complex out there the manufacturing complex out there, the only way they can stay profitable is by the fact that you consume. So the propaganda of the upgrade that is being sold to us. So propaganda is there everywhere. That's what I'm saying. They all use propaganda, promote. Someone is promoting their political ideologies. Another form of propaganda that you will see is something which is deception, so to speak. Let's talk about something called a Trojan horse. Now the Greeks were fighting the Trojans, right? And they were basically going on and on for years, and they wanted to end the war. So what they ended up doing is that they ended up making a wooden horse, and then they placed certain soldiers in it so that they could have a breakthrough, and eventually that is how they infiltrated. Now this happens around us too. I'll give you instead of journalizing, I can give you a journal example, and I'm sure whoever is watching this will be able to find things like this being done in and around them. Say there is a set of people called Group A. Okay, let's go to fact. Okay, let's start drawing. I like this. So there is A and there is B. Now these guys both do not like each other. They have their reasons. A has their reasons of mistrust and B has their reasons of mistrust. Now every country which is progressing today realizes the fact that more unity there is amongst the various ethnic groups, the faster you progress, because then there is peace, there is not enough tension, nobody is arguing about the fact that somebody else is getting more or I'm getting less. Everybody is working for the common cause, the progress of the nation. So in certain countries, it is achieved democratically. In certain countries, it is basically achieved by the stick. Some countries which are called people's republics are hardly people's republics. The public opinion in those countries doesn't matter at all. Now, anyways, so let's come back to A and B. Now, both these groups have a certain amount of distrust or mistrust. Okay. Now, somebody who wants to take them forward, because obviously there is somebody C who wants to take all these groups together, will try to do certain, trust building measures. But at the same point of time, there is a competitor to this C, who's D. He will say, how about this? C is never going to go with me, right? I do not want to go with C. How about I tell these two, you tell B things about A and you tell A things about B, which increases the level of distrust between them. So there is a bigger divide. And then you go tie up with these guys, and then you go tie up with these guys. Now there are 3 against 1. So this is basically the concept of divide and rule, trying to find distrust or trying to find conflict. So now this is why a lot of people see conflict can be used very creatively by certain people. And propaganda is a brilliant tool to create conflict. See, it is easier to rule smaller divided people, smaller groups of divided people, than trying to get all these people together so that you can rule them. Do you think this happens around you? It happens. It happens on a small scale in our schools, colleges, society. It happens on a bigger scale when it comes to our cities, localities, communities, and happens on a grander scale when it comes to the level of a country, and much grander scale when it comes to the world. So what I'm trying to eventually say is you have to understand the fact. Now, interestingly, I was actually looking for certain more information and I ended up finding something which is mentioned by the Council of Europe portal dealing with propaganda, misinformation, fake news. I'll share the link to this article and you can go through this. Challenges. If you see, they mention about what are the challenges, so on and so forth. See, who is consuming the maximum amount of information? Maximum amount of information is being consumed by people who are young. And the young are energetic. And they like to emphasize their right to vote and they're vocal. And these are the young that you need to influence. Because, see, if you are influenced young by an ideology, you are hooked for it for life because you'll believe in it. So if at very young age, so in today's day and age, you will realize that even the educators out there are making sure that the educators are being used to propagate ideologies. They are not just teaching you how to read and write. They are teaching you how to think. Now, certain people might argue the fact that that is also a form of education. Is it? Then where is the freedom of choice? Because aren't you doing that entire thing of blindsiding somebody to something else also? So influencing. So influencing by using information is also a form of propaganda. I'm not saying all influencers out there are propaganda tools, but then again, yes, there is a lot of hate that is attributed to that word. The reason why that hate is attributed to that word is because it has been used as a tool to cause a lot of harm to humanity. But at the same point of time, if you see, it has done a lot of good humanity as well. Because if information was not spread, then again, the development that we see today in the form of information technology, in the form of, it is all information. Whether it comes to medical research or it comes to any form of scientific research, it is basically information. Some patent it, some make money out of it, some share it and for the greater good of humanity, so on and so forth. But that's what it is. So yes, there is a lot of hate attached to that word propaganda. But as I said, nothing is clear, nothing is as ambiguous as it is today. There has to be a balance how information is used. Information which is used to educate people is good. But information which is used to push an ideology and branded as education is propaganda. Well, I hope I have been able to make certain things clear. But we have to realize today that as we are growing as a country and we are becoming a bigger and bigger economy, We are not dealing with small economies anymore. We are dealing with the propaganda machine of much bigger economies. And we Indians need to be careful right now and put our interests first. So anyways, that's it for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed what I spoke about, and please do give me your feedback in the comment section. Please like the video, share the video, and let me know if there is something else that we should probably speak about. Until next time, you take care. Have a nice day.